Hi everyone! Today I thought I would just talk you all through my materials that I'm going to use for my dragon dress, my Aelin inspired outfit. So to start off with, because I have a lot of materials for this thing and a lot of things I've been collecting over the years, and not much of it is new, but a few bits are, and I'm going to talk to you why they are. So I'm trying to do this as sustainably as possibly, and was also on a lower budget as possible. So these are the kind of things that I've gotten. I have this, which is just black cotton. It's black cotton. I'm gonna use this to make the corset out of because it's fairly thick and it's sturdy, and it will just work well for the corset because you're not gonna see it underneath it because I'm gonna mount most of the dress onto the corset and have the lacing down the back and then a zipper so you won't be able to see any of it at all. Talking about the corset, I have these, which are zip ties. I'm going to try and, well, I'm not going to try, I'm going to use these as the bones in the corset, mainly because I have used them before and laugh at me, but they work, okay? So they may not be as sturdy as metal or as the spiral boning, but I don't need them to be. So this is a great cheap alternative. These are about 4mm wide and they're fairly thick, so they're fairly sturdy, and you can double them up as well if they're too floppy in certain areas, like along the bust line. So that's what I'm going to use for this. I'm going to use the felt for the embroidery, which will be on the dragon back. As well as I'm going to try and see whether this works. This is very, very thin. I don't know whether you can see it. But it's very, very thin. I think it's bug net or mosquito net, but I thought it'd be great to mount embroidery onto because it doesn't move and it works, it feels the same way that sort of embroidery paper feels like. So I thought I would give it a shot because they didn't have white embroidery paper in the colour that I wanted. Sorry, they only had white embroidery paper, not black embroidery paper. So I'm going to see whether this one works. The same with really the felt, because the way that I'm going to do the embroidery means that it's going to be a little bit more 3D. So even if I do end up using this, I can then build up my layers with the felt just to make it seem a little bit more, I don't know, 3D. And it'll stand out a little bit more against the velvet, which of course is 3D within itself. I then have this, which is a huge reel of gold thread, which I got off eBay. It was, I believe, about £3 for the whole thing, which is insane. I've used it on so many projects and I intend to use it on Aelin, on the embroidery which goes along the skirt trains, just the stitching, and the dragon as well. So I figured that it would match because it's gold and it's shiny and it stands out so well against the black embroidery fabric as well as the black velvet, which I'll show you in a minute. For the dragon as well, I have all of these little ribbons which I'm going to use for the dragon head and kind of embroider them into it to make it a little bit more 3D, as well as potentially on the sleeves to give the little star effect. But I thought they were super cute, and all of these I've just kind of gotten off eBay or I've collected over the years, but they're all in the right colour tone, so I thought that they would work well. For the edges of the corset, I have this black bias binding, and it's silk, and so I'm gonna use that to bind the top edge as well as the bottom edge of the corset to make it a little bit more comfortable. Despite the fact that you won't see it, I think it's important to finish off the edges and to make it look nice, and then I can take pictures of it for my portfolio as well whilst I'm going along. For the embroidery, I have some invisible thread as well as some gold thread, which you can see. and this, which I will use in the dragon head embroidery and on the dress itself. I also have some black thread too, just to sew up the main body of the dress, because you're not going to be able to see it anyway. This was one of my favourite things that I got off eBay last year, which is a whole reel of gold thread. It's so good. It's the same way that I've used the gold spool in a lot of projects. I love this so much. I don't know whether it's slightly too light for the project, but it's so metallic, so I might end up using it and then maybe dyeing it a little bit more gold later. But I thought it would be really fun to do some sort of ribbon manipulation, make it a little bit more 3D, and yeah, it'll be good. And then for the, I'm gonna put that down. For the dragon embroidery, as well as to make it stand out a little bit more, I have a lot of beads that I'm gonna put into it whilst I've got it in the embroidery hoop, and some chains and some embroidery fabric. I don't know if you can see that, but wait, I will put in a picture of this, because that will probably work a little bit better than that. But yes, so I'm going to use that for the dragon head embroidery as well. But I just thought all of those together, as well as with the black velvet. This is the black velvet that I'm going to use for the dress. It means that it's stretch velvet as well, so I can drape it all over the top and it will look so pretty with all the different golds in it. And that is my plan. That is everything I have sorted for the dragon dress. I have said dragon so many times in this, I do apologise. But yes, that's my plan. So I will be making another video next week about my corset, and hopefully we can just get on with the project. And you can subscribe to join me whilst I make this. Hopefully there'll be a new video up every Friday, potentially Wednesdays as well, but I haven't figured that out yet. But yeah,